Yes, Mishti, please start. I'm just starting the recording.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Law as a career has immense potential in India and abroad. The possibilities range from litigation to arbitration, research to corporates, legislation to judiciary. Law as a career is historically regarded as a very respectable and lucrative path. To become a good lawyer, one must possess certain skills. And it is very essential that the development of that is done right from the beginning when the student joins a law school. Students, right after joining law school, explore different arenas in 5 years of their undergrads. And that also helps them in deciding the area of their interest. This webinar is organized to orient law students and law aspirants about different career options that they can have, as well as we will also try to guide them regarding the activities that one can do as a law student to build this. Today, we have 7 members of our Auro family. 4 of them are our alumni and 3 are from our passing out batch. Starting with Ms. Prachi Patel, who is a BBA LLB graduate from Auro University from the batch of 2012-17. She also holds Master of Law in US Laws from California Western School of Law. She also worked in immigration law firm in San Diego, California, and she will soon be registered in the Washington State Bar. Second panelist is Ms. Krusha Bhatt. She is also a BBA LLB graduate from 2013-18 batch. She also holds masters from University of East Anglia in International Commercial and Competition Law. She is presently working as an assistant lecturer at Jindal Global School of Law. Next, we have Ms. Dhwani Vivek Thakkar, who is a graduate from Auro University from BBA LLB 2013-18 batch. She is also pursuing LLM from India, and she is working as an associate in Trivedi's law firm, Ahmedabad. Next we have is Mr. Parth Kikani, who is a BBA LLB graduate from Auro University from the batch of 2014-19. He is also pursuing LLM from India and is working as an associate in Salil Thakkar Associates-Ahemdabad. Then we have Mr. Tanay, Vyas, Ms. Dhwani Patel, and Aditya Mistry, who are our students from the passing batch. They are presently completing their industry immersion program, which is a semester-long internship specially designed for our final year students. Mr. Tanay Vyas is an Assist intern at Wadia, Gandhy and Company, Mumbai. Ms. Dhruvi Patel is also an Assist intern at Wadia, Gandhy and Company, Mumbai. Mr. Aditya Mistry is also interning under APP and AGP advocate Hardik, Gujarat High Court. I welcome you all. I'm extremely overwhelmed actually to welcome you all for this panel discussion.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
It's indeed a pleasure. It's indeed a pleasure to host you today for this session on career in law. First, I would like you people to describe a little bit about yourself and the area in which you are working. Though I have given a brief description about what you are doing, but we want to know more about the areas in which you are working, starting with Prachi Patel.
So before I begin, I would like to thank you and Auro University for having me. It's a pleasure to be back, even though if it's only through internet. So right now, I have been studying full-time for the bar exam, but I can talk about the work I was doing before. So basically, I was working at an immigration law firm in San Diego, California as a legal assistant. My work as legal assistant consisted of reviewing documents. So basically making sure that our clients' applications were accurate and organized. I was also working on a client's declaration, which is a formal statement submitted to USCIS on the client, on why the client is seeking a change in their immigration status. And of course, I was also working on writing legal memorandums for my supervising attorney. So yeah, I was basically doing a lot of research, document reviewing, which required a high level of attention to details. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the forms that I was working on, but I was working on forms like N400, DS160, I130. These forms are very important um, because we cannot make a single mistake on these forms. If we do, it can delay the process for months, and sometimes it can even result in denial. So yeah, I was working with the law office of Monta before I started studying for my bar exam in February. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prachi. Next is Krusha. Krusha, can you tell me what are the research work that you're doing?
Ma'am, I couldn't understand your question. Your voice is very unstable.
You are doing presently? What are the subjects that you're teaching? What are the research that you have undertaken
Not
presently?
audible at all, ma'am. Maybe you can write in the chat box, I guess, because it's very alien voice. Something like alien filter. Something near to
What are
that.
you?
Usually, if you write the question in the question and answer box, then it is more easy for the rest of the panelist members to be give the answer actually, because your voice is very breaking and no one can able to hear your voice actually. Or Silpi ma'am, can you help them?
So even I am not able to hear Vrishti ma'am. So she will be writing in the chat box.
Yes.
Yes, she already did,
Whatever
ma'am.
you're going to say. So yes, first of all, I would like to thank Auro University and specifically Vrishti ma'am for reaching out for this action. Obviously, I will be grateful for future events as well, that if I can be a part of my alma mater and help the potential students or even my juniors for that matter. So talking about me, as ma'am has already said that I graduated from University of East Anglia and I specialized in international commercial and competition law. So soon after I finished, I would not say soon after, but before even I wrote my dissertation, I had the standing office from Jindal Law School, starting from the spring semester. So there I am teaching public international law along with my course instructor, Professor Dr. Jasmeet Gulati. She's also working in the same field. And there I have a mixed work where I'm also involved into research, where I independently have to, work on my interest areas and work on my publications. Alongside, I am teaching to the third year students at the moment, BA LLB class. And I'm also happy to share that recently I got one of the acceptance of my research paper. It's a European Journal of Competition Law Review, and it will be soon be published in the forthcoming issue. So I'm absolutely enjoying my time at Jindal, and as at the moment I speak of, I also take online classes as we have shifted to the virtual academic session. So that's all about it. Okay.
Next, Dhwani, can you please share what are you doing these days?
To all the panelists, and it feels amazing, and thank you Auro University for giving me this opportunity to be part of the panel discussion. I work, as Vrishti ma'am mentioned, at Trivedi's Law Office Ahmedabad, exclusively under Advocate Anshul Nilesh Trivedi. He's my senior. We work in banking sector, we work in NCLT, which deals with company law, and we work in revenue and also a negotiable instrument. I exclusively work for banking and company, and going to these tribunals, taking up matters, drafting, litigating in NCLT as well as DRT. And it feels really good to work under these two subjects, because commercial law was always my thing, and I'm currently pursuing LLM in business law. So while doing that and working, I've been working in this office for around about 1.5 years.
Thank you, Dhwani. Next part, can you please share what are you doing these days?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, first of all, for inviting me as a panelist in this discussion. Right now, I'm practicing as an associate lawyer with my father as well as with Mr. Salil Thakkar. I had practiced for on and about around 10 months straight in the High Court and in the NCLT in civil laws and in IBC. Lately, I have started also working in the criminal law. I also visit district courts and lower courts as well as High Court and NCLT. These are various kinds of departments and fields to work in, and it's really exciting and it's really good to work in different fields like this.
Thank you, Parth. Next is Tanay and Dhruvee. You both are interning in a corporate office. Can you tell us what kind of work do you do there?
So basically, I am an assist intern in the litigation department, and this department is responsible for handling most of all the subject matters of litigation. But the main subject matter under which I can say interning is a commercial arbitration as well as the commercial litigation in the Bombay High Court. And basically, I can say that this is a field which excites me a lot, and that I was willing to work for the commercial law firms who handle such cases. So I am happy to be working for a firm and under a subject matter which is of my liking.
Thank you so much, Tanay. Dhruvee?
Further, I'm also working in the litigation team, which is general litigation at Wadia, Gandhi and Company, as ma'am already said. So I am working for general litigation, and it is headed by Miss Bindi Dave there. So basically here, most of the cases that I have dealt with are under company law, property law. I had fields where I could explore arbitration because I was closely related to a case which was linked with arbitration. And I had a good opportunity there to cover various fields of litigation because that is my interest. And I have always wanted to do some litigation work in the future ahead. And further, arbitration, property act, so specific relief act. So basically I had a chance to go over the studies that we have done and to actually explore how the working goes on, because this firm let us associate with the cases that we're working and to let us help research upon it and to indulge in every conferences with various senior advocates, and then also with the pleadings in the High Court. So basically, as an intern at this place, it has been as an assessment internship. So I've completed 3 months there.
Next is Aditya. Can you share what work you do at the Office of Advocate Sony?
Yes, ma'am. First of all, good evening, one and all. Well, I'm currently working under AGP APP Hardik Soni. So, sir is currently posted for the criminal matter. So, I have to deal with the quashing petition related to criminal appeal, drafting first appeal, then special criminal, quashing petition, and further cancellation of bail. And I'm also assisting Jashwant K. Shah in civil side. So I work related to civil matters also, drafting LPA and help him with SE also.
Thank you so much, Aditya. My next question is for Dhwani and Parth. Since you both are practicing in the court, can you tell me what attracts you to the legal profession?
Okay. So while we are practicing in a court, probably what we do is from draft briefs to researching and to then litigating. So step one that we do for the court is drafting. So learning and researching, I think the most thing that attracts me is I get to learn every day. I get to research new things every day because I'm the one who's drafting, and then after some point of time, if my sir is not available or if it's a case that I can take it up, he pushes me, and that's when I can explore and go ahead. Yes.
Parth, can you tell me?
Yes, ma'am. What attracts me the most to this field is that while we are in the courts, we are able to see and learn by seeing one of the most senior advocates of the country, like me, Thakkar, Sanjanwala sir, the AG sir. There are many other such senior advocates whom we can learn from. We can develop our communication skills. There are many things that we know already or that we are having knowledge about. But one of the most important thing that I learned during this part of my tenure of my career is that it is very important and necessary to articulate those things properly to the other person whom you are trying to convince your point.
Right.
So it is very important to know how to speak, what to speak, and when to speak. And more than that, it is very important to understand that it is not just about speaking, and it is not just about convincing and talking your stuff, but it is more important to listen and to imbibe properly.
So can we say that when you see these senior lawyers arguing before the court and they bow down before the court with so much of humility, with what you have done in the college, which is humility, right?
Yes.
So the lawyers, the biggest lawyer in the country, also bows down. Also, he is humble before the bench.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, so that is something that is also related to what we do at our university.
Yes.
Great.
Court
Yes.
manners and etiquettes.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, and
And
then
one of
when
the
you said that you all are working in different departments and so many hours of working and all, so that also like made you sincere,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So that is also a core value that we have, right? Sincerity. And that is
Yes,
also
ma'am.
something that we
Yes.
have in our profession.
Yes.
Okay, the next question is for Prachi. So Prachi, you have interned in India as well as you have worked in US. So can you tell me what is the difference between the working that you have observed in the courts of India and the US?
Honestly, ma'am, I haven't worked in courts here in US, but I would say that, you know, working in courts in India and at Auro University, you know, I can just compare the studies right now, the studying that I have done at Auro and at California Western, and I can see the difference that here students are just given one subject. Like you have to you will be given a course where you will be taught how to read, how to write, and how to um, analyze a case, but they are not exposed to the courts. So I think when they go to the court, I have been to court 1 or 2 times, and I have seen that they are not very confident in what
US.
they, yeah, in US. I feel that when they start, they are not very confident and they don't have that interpersonal communication that is important. So that's one point that I would give to our university and to the courts in India. When students they go to the court, they are very confident and they have intellectual skills. So yeah, I think I have seen more negotiation skills and persuasive skills in Indian courts than I have seen in US courts, maybe because I haven't been to courts a lot. The work that I do is more in-house, so I'm not really very familiar with the court system here.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prachi. Aditya, can you tell me what did you observe in Gujarat High Court? What are the qualities that are there in the advocates there? And can you relate it with the kind of qualities that our law school tries to, imbibe in you people?
Sure, ma'am. As far as my limited experience is concerned, I've saw many great lawyers, a kind of orator. So one of the most essential thing is your passion for this profession. Without the passion, you can't thrive, you can't survive in this profession, in the court.
Very true.
And second is you remain as a law student. As soon as you enroll in this field, you always remain as a law student. So the knowledge never stops. And third is good observing skills. So as rightly pointed out by Parth, that a lawyer knows when to speak, how to speak. So this is a skill, this is a good observing skill when you know how to approach before the bench. And comparing it with our Auro University 12 principles that this 5 year had taught me, or all of us all have been taught with, that it helps us be generosity, be sincerity, be peace. So this is how the quality in a lawyer, and this is how a law student helps us for
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Aditya. Krusha, next question is for you. So you were very participative in moods, right? As a student, you used to participate. Then after you were also a student convener. Then you were a judge in the mood court competition. And now you are a teacher. I'm sure you'll be training your students also for the mood. So can you tell me how this mood has helped you? Like as a student, I've seen you participating in so many moods, right? And then after you also managed to organize a national event as a student convener in Auro University. So share me the experience. How did that help you, in your career or building or making you what you are today?
Talking about mood, that is something very special and near to my heart because I love smoothing. Although I will always regret the fact that I realized during the late years or late semesters of my career. However, it has been a tremendous experience throughout. So I was a founding member of the Auro Litigiosus Committee, holding the post of secretary. And during that particular academic year of 2016 and 17, I was a part of organizing almost 5 intra moot court competitions and 1 national moot court competition. And alongside, I also was a student, who had to prepare for the exams and appear for the continuous assessments. So, in a nutshell, I would say, apart from the learning about the particular subjects that we had during the moot court or the topics that we researched on, participating in other activities such as moot courts or any paper presentations has helped me to balance my life, the work-life balance and the personal life balance. Also, it has also helped me in time management because it is really important, because when you're doing a lot of things at the same time, I think it is very much important on how you manage your time. Otherwise, you're losing upon something and then you regret doing something at the cost of the other. So I think the interpersonal skills that I was actively involved with, and talking to students, organizing 10 things at the same time, talking to Supreme Court judges, and that has also improved my communication skills, the way I draft my emails, the way I approach other people, who would listen just by not randomly dropping by and courteously approaching them. So there's not one aspect that has helped me, but I would say there are a lot of things that has shaped my life throughout. But after coming and joining Jindal as well, I was coaching the team who were preparing for the NLU Jodhpur Moot Court competition on competition law itself. And I'm very happy to share that the memorial ranked under top 8 and they reached till quarterfinals. Also, I was in touch with Associates-Ahemdabad students who were preparing for the Herbert Street Smith Hill law firm, which is based in London, and they also had this intra rounds for the moot court competition. I helped them prepare the memorials and taking their oral rounds as well. Then there were other teams from same school, Hyderabad Symbiosis Law School. They were preparing for the theme on the laws of World Trade Organization. That was again the national rounds, and I helped them prepare the same. They had just their round 2 days before, so they're still expecting the results. But I would say that mooting is a skill, it's an art. You do not just born with it. You have to develop it by rigorous hard work, I would say, because it takes a lot of efforts and energy, just not by yourself but the team. So even if you are alone capable of doing it, but your team is not sufficient or it's not motivated enough to do so, I do not think so that you can have any chance of going further with the round. So that's what I have realized during the 2 national moot courts which I participated in. So I would suggest that it is very much important to choose your teammates wisely.
Krusha. Next question is for Tanay and Dhruvi. So you were a part of a team that got us a trophy, right? And it was such a proud moment for our school when you got this trophy. So can you share your experience of moving? And you were also part of the committee, right? Tanay and Dhruvi.
Ma'am, your voice is cracking.
I'm saying that you and Dhruvi were also a part of the winners team, right? Of the national moot court
Yes, ma'am.
competition. You got us a
Yes.
very big trophy from, like, you got second prize out of 52 teams. So can you share the experience of mooting? And you were also a part of the committee at our university. You have also participated in many intra moot courts. So can you share your experience? How do you helping you in your profession?
So basically, mooting is a subject which has always been very close to my heart, and the area of subject which I always want to pursue is litigation. So basically, mooting is like a test which we give in a college in order to go for litigation. And to be frank, we have attended many national moot courts, and it's not always about winning, but the idea of preparing a memorial, that is drafting the entire memorial from the scratch, going there as a team, arguing as to how we are supposed to convince the judge to convey our ideas, to convey the case laws that which we have relied upon, is a very big task and a learning in itself. So whenever whatever I've done in the moots, I can relate it to the work which I usually do in the internships, like searching for case laws which would be helpful to a actual case in a court, or drafting any type of document which is required. So basically, moot is a subject which should be tried by most of the law students, as it will be very helpful for those who want to pursue a career in law, especially in litigation.
Right. Thank you so much. Dhruvi, can you share your experience?
Sure, ma'am. Firstly, I would really like to thank Auro University and all the faculty members for organizing these intra moot courts and also giving us a moot court subject in itself, which helped us to participate in the moot courts from the very first year and to start going to national moot courts from the very first year. So I have done 4 national moot courts and 1 international moot court starting from the first year as well, and participating in every intra-moot court competition. And as Krusha rightly said, that organizing the moot courts on side by side in the ALC group that we have. So I was also the secretary at the time when I was in the committee, and it was very tedious and it was very difficult to manage both the work together. But I'm very glad that the college and the university taught us the same thing, which is now helping me in my internship very well, because the entire work and my passion for mooting and for going into litigation helps me there with the research work and every other material or the arguing skills, the communicative skills that could only have been developed over time and through the moot court competitions that I have been a part of. So it has been a great experience, and the moot court that we won, it was because of all the help that we received from the university and the immense amount of the hard that we poured into the moot court before going there and the hard work. And so I'll be always be grateful to my university for that specific moot court competition, and how it helped through all my entire 4 years, that in final year I could be at the position where we could go and represent to a moot court competition where there were teams from international schools as well. And so it was a great experience arguing and pursuing that specific moot competition.
Thank you so much, Dhruvi. So you have talked about the internships, right? So as we have at Auro, the different kinds of internships, like in first year, you have to go to the NGO. In the second year, you have to go to the trial courts. Then after it could be any
Trial
area
court.
of your choice. So you can go to High Court, Supreme Court, right? Or the corporate office and all. So can you tell me what did you learn from these internships? How that helped you in getting a better perspective in deciding the area in which you want to work?
So,
Starting
ma'am,
with
going
Prachi?
to
Yes, Dhruvi, you can start.
no, no, ma'am, it's okay. Starting here.
Oh, please, Dhruvi, please start.
Yeah, so through the various different years, so first year I did at an NGO as well. And second year I was working at a high court, and then in the third year in the Supreme Court. So during these years, in the second and third year as well, I could finally come up and make my mind that I always wanted to go into litigation. As I already said that I have been participating in various moots as well. So I believe I got to know myself in the initial years only that I have always wanted to go into litigation through these various internships and the moot court competitions that were provided to us.
Next can be Tanay.
Sure, ma'am. The one thing which I realize now is that choosing your internship wisely is a thing that every law student should do. So basically, I have worked under Miss Indira Jaising in the Supreme Court, Sudhir Nanavati in the High Court, and through all of these, I've learned that it is not only the subject matter like litigation or be it a human right litigation case, it is not the subject matter of that particular internship which is important, but you get to learn things like proper drafting, researching skills, or searching for case laws which might be helpful for your case. So basically, all these internships have helped me a lot in together, and I can now say that working in a corporate law firm is in altogether a new experience, and which has also been my area of interest. So only advice would be that all the students should choose their internships properly and should basically focus on a field that they want to pursue a career in.
Thank you so much, Tanay. Aditya, can you share your experience?
Yes, ma'am. Well, basically, internship under good firm for a lawyer has its own perks. So, I first did my internship under Mega Jani, then followed by I did my internship under Justice KJ Desai, and from past 2 years, I'm doing internship under APP AGP Hardik Soni. So, I wanted to have a different perspective as I wanted to join litigation, and that's why internship helps you to grab that opportunity. And sir has to be frank, sir has never taught me. He provided me with an opportunity. He had my back. He knew that maybe I was not uh, competent enough, but he taught me that you can do it. So this is how a good internship helps us. As Tanay rightly said, that good internship has its own advantage for your career and for your betterment.
Right. Thank you so much, Tanay. Can you share the internship experience? Can you share the industry immersion internship that you took in semester 10? How did that help you in the career?
Hello, ma'am. I'm not able to understand you.
Parth, I'm saying that can you share your internship experience with us? And you were also the first batch for this industrial immersion program. So can you share how did that help? Because in 10th semester, you were working with some lawyer, right? For a whole
Yes,
semester.
yes, ma'am. Hello.
So how did that help you in the profession?
Hello, ma'am. Can you write the question in the chat box? I'm not able to understand the question properly.
Okay. Parth, can you share about your experience, internship experience?
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, yes.
I have interned in various courts in the domestic courts, lower courts, district courts, city courts, High Court, the work with various advocates in various fields. It helped me to open my mindset about various fields and how the various courts have their working system, how various how different advocates perceive every situation in a different way, how they take every situation in a different way, and how they act upon it is a very important thing to learn about. And even in the internships, we get a basic idea about every field in which we are doing internship under. So it makes it easier for us to choose a particular field or a path on which you want to further take your career. Lastly, I had a great experience interning under Mr. Vimal Patel. Is a solicitor. He practices in the High Court, and he also takes on the arbitration matters. And I had a great learning experience over there.
Thank you so much, Parth. Next is Dhwani. Can you share your internship experiences and how that helped you in the career?
Yes. So as everyone knows, in the first year, you have to work with an NGO. So I worked with a environmental-based NGO. In the second year, I worked in trial court under Advocate Sanjay Thakkar. In the third year, when I worked in Wadia, Gandhi, Ahmedabad, that was kind of a turning point in my life when I in a corporate law firm is something that I'm looking forward to, which I really want to work in, and that is what I worked in my third year semester internship, which was at Wadia Gandhi, is what I'm doing currently as an associate advocate in a law firm. So even in the fourth year, I worked in Jani and Co, and I was doing pretty much the same. Again, in the fifth year, I again joined one more corporate law firm. So once, I think very rightly, Tanay has put it, that once you catch an area where you want to work and you start working in that field, and as an intern, it's a beautiful base for you to actually find out where you want to go, the path you want to go. So internship sets a base for you, and that's when, after your 5 years, when you come out of law school, you have a clear vision where you want to go, how you want to put forward your life. So internship is, I think, the best base which nurtures you as a lawyer, as an upcoming lawyer. So a law student should take an internship very seriously and focus on which path they want to go in. Not just take internship as it comes, but choose your internship field very nicely. So it has helped me in the best possible way to reach where I am today.
Thank you, Dhwani. Next is Krusha. Krusha, can you discuss about the internship experience?
Sure, ma'am. So, as in the initial statements you said that, so we have a flow of internships starting from NGO till the High Court or Supreme Court, or at the end, whatever we can do. So, I think it is really important because as newcomers, I mean, in the initial semesters as a law student, it is quite difficult to, start from the litigation or corporate law firm internship. Because Auro has a clear structure of starting from the NGO-based internship and then progressing towards High Court and before that trial court or the lower courts. And we were also asked to maintain diaries and daily reports, and then we need to submit it on the basis of that. We also had to give our Vyas. So Auro University always made sure that they are keeping a track of whatever we are doing. There is always a sense of monitoring in a way to help us shape our career better. So I think I've also had interaction with a lot of students from NLUs as well, but they do not really have this focused structure of their internships. Neither they are mandatory for them at some schools. And Auro keeping these internships well, and the professors also help us in getting one if we are not able to find any in our own. So talking about again the core values, I've learned most of them through the experiences from my internship only. Starting from NGO, humility, how do you bow down to others who are inferior than you. I'm not saying that I consider anybody inferior than me, but considering their socio-economic position, obviously we were asked to visit the rural areas where we need to perform nukkad nataks and bring awareness, legal awareness, I would say, and being in the legal profession. After that, working in the corporate sector or even going or visiting high courts and Supreme Court, sincerity is something that I learned from those experiences where you need to be dedicated to the work you have committed to, because your actions will determine the decisions about somebody else's life. You're putting somebody else's life at stake just by the work that you are doing. So I think all these aspects in some or the other way has helped all the students, I would say, just not me, but all the students. We've learned all these core values that have been taught and, put in the fundamental nature of the teaching pedagogy at Auro University. And I'm very thankful for the same.
Thank you so much, Krusha. Next, Prachi, can you share your internship experiences in India as well as abroad?
Yes, ma'am. So, sorry. So when I started my internships in India, I was very clear. I never wanted to go to the courtroom and be in front of the judge, but I still did internships in NGO, and then I went to district courts and then high court. I also did an internship in corporate firm, and every internship that I have done, I have learned something new. For example, when I did internship in a district court, I was working with Kirit Panwala, and I learned a lot from him, especially his cross-examination skills were amazing. And looking at corporates, I was a lot into arbitration when I was working as an intern in corporate. So I enjoyed working at Suzlon One Earth. It's one of the multinational company, and during that time, I just knew that I want to work in corporates, and I want to do, like I said, I don't want a career in a courtroom. So I started exploring arbitration, mediation, and I wrote a lot of papers and presented on why negotiation skills and dispute resolution is important. So I would say that our university has given me the persuasive skills and negotiation skills I've developed was through the internships. And when I came to US and I did my internship at law offices of Temeswar as an legal assistant in immigration field, it was completely new for me. And there were many things that I was learning for the first time. And one thing, it's little bit outside of the talk, but I would still say it, that it is very important that we take the criticisms very positively. And that's another thing that I have learned from our university. Never take criticisms negatively, because whatever is being said to you is something for your betterment, and consider it as a gift from someone who has more experience and something to teach you. So I'm very thankful for giving me all these opportunities with the internships at our university.
Okay, thanks so much, Prachi. Next question is for all of you. So when we university, right? So we believe in 20, 20, 30, and 50. Seeing, learning from hearing, and learning from doing. So I have already seen you people being very, very
Couldn't understand the question.
No, ma'am, ma'am, you were not clear at all. Can you please write the question?
Yes, can you share? So at Auro University, we have this 20, 30, and 50, right, of the learning pedagogy. Like 20% you learn from seeing, 30% you learn from hearing, and 50% from doing. So I have always seen you people being very much involved in the activities of doing. So can you share one memory about experiential learning that you did in undergrads and that was fun as well as help you in profession?
Maybe we can start from Prachi.
Prachi, yes.
Yes, Prachi. To share one experiential learning activity that you did in undergrads at our university, which was extremely fun and that helped you a lot in the profession to build the skills that are required.
Well, I have a lot of memories that comes to my mind, but when I think about experiences that I made at Auro University and helped my profession, beginning with the first year at Auro, we were exposed to many group projects that required collaboration. In the beginning, I did not really enjoy working in groups, but we had different opinions and I wanted to avoid conflicts with my friends and classmates. However, the more and more group projects that we did, the more confident I became in voicing my opinions in group settings. And now I feel confident in doing the same in the workplace. So, yeah.
Yeah. So yes, I did not even need to think twice before sharing this experience. So when I was studying, we had this crime scene investigation assessment, and I think it was so much fun. That's when I realized that it's not all about theory, that you need to also have practical knowledge to it too. So even when I think of teaching something to my students, I always think about the professor who arranged the crime scene investigation activity, and that really helped me understand the nuances of how exactly the forensics work and the law of evidence, and how important it is to abide by those rules when you're actually investigating a crime scene, and the recreation of crime scene, establishing the theory by doing it, the criminal theories, I mean. And it was absolutely fun plus learning at the same time. So I always think about these kind of activities while delivering some nuances even in public international law. So motivated from this idea of crimes and investigation, when I was also teaching at Zimbabwe. So at the second week of my joining only, my professor asked me to teach the law of the treaties. So where I thought about this activity during, I mean, it recalled automatically in my mind that I was, made a part of this activity. So even I want to do something with my students. So I arranged a treaty negotiation exercise for themselves to understand how exactly treaties are negotiated and how the states even different negotiate the terms of the treaties and how do they ratify it. And after that, the students responded so well, and they still can even if you ask them at the night, in the middle of night, they will tell you that how treaty negotiations take place and what are the steps. Similarly, I remember the principles of forensics law, and the same way they also know the law of the treaty. So I think that was very fun, that I can clearly remember from my undergrad days.
Thank you
For
so much,
me,
Krusha. Next is Dhwani.
yes. So for me, when I get back, it was parliamentary debate that our entire batch did, and we were divided into two parliamentary teams, and we were actually enacting one politician, and we were speaking like them, we were dressed up like them, we were presenting ourselves like them, and whatever came in our minds, you see there's an instant smile on my face, because speak, we were so poised, we were so confident, and when it comes to me, I love speaking. Orating is something that I love, and when you have to put yourself like that of what you do, so Auro has always pushed us in becoming what we are. So even when it comes to parliamentary debate, or even one topic given to you for your presentations, I still remember those classroom analysis presentations that we did in front of the entire class, and any questions would be thrown at you, and we were so much at our toes because we always wanted to be on top of the game. And Auro has always taught us to how to come forward and put our point of view and speak. So I'm very thankful to Auro for actually encouraging me in my oratory skills. Thank you so much.
Next part, can you share one experience of the experiential learning activity that you did?
Yes, ma'am. For me, it would be definitely be the public speaking and the public orientation skills that were being pursued by Auro University to help their students. It helped me really very much to in the practical world in for advocacy. As I yet remember that I was very weak at my public speaking. I was not able to speak even properly in public during the presentations, and I was being pushed very hard by the faculties as well as by my fellow members in the class to give my presentations and to speak in the class properly, so that I could articulate my thoughts, what I have learned properly. So that helped me really really very much in the practical world as well.
Next is Tanay.
As far as my experience is concerned, like I won't name the faculty, but at Auro we have a brilliant faculty who teaches all the criminal subjects, and she made sure that we indulged ourselves in activities like she took us to the juvenile jail, or like there was client counseling. So basically she never took, like she taught in the class, but she made sure that we had all the type of practical knowledge as well, and that has helped me a lot in understanding the client or in understanding the type of case that I am dealing with. So I would say that this is the type of learning that one should have and inculcate.
Thank you so much, Tanay. Next is Dhruvi.
Ma'am, definitely for me,
Yes.
I have many experiences over the years, but the specific that I would like to point over all of these things that these members have already suggested. I mean, those were very near and dear, the criminal subjects, the constitution subjects, and how well they were taught us. So the creative ideas that the university always used to make projects or to give presentations, that was very fascinating. Like to make a simple, boring issue in a very interesting manner was very nice. Like how environment law was also like made interesting by telling us to make posters or some presentations or some live things with the scenario. And also like we had one in the international law subject where we were supposed to make a newspaper by creating our own news and then presenting it to the whole class. So we were able to use the principles as well, and we were supposed to make news for ourselves, like some factual or the imaginary that we could think about, and use the laws as well, and then try to come in at an outcome of the same. So that was a very nice creative idea of making a very simple thing in a very fascinating manner to attract all the students to participate.
Very good. Aditya, can you share your experience?
Yes, ma'am. It was a group presentation wherein we have to make our own newspaper. So we all had our opinion and how we wanted this country to be. For example, that BCCI is a private society, or theory of justice, or about homosexuality. So it was one of the most interesting and helped us to express our thought without any judgment or without any conviction. So this is how. Yes, so this is how an assessment helped us to frame our opinion without any biasness or without any prior conviction.
Okay, thank you so much, Aditya. Yes, my next question is for Prachi and Krusha, because you have done your undergrads from Auro University, then you have pursued your masters from abroad. Right, so Prachi has done her masters from US and Krusha has done her masters from UK. So can you tell me what is the difference in teaching pedagogy here and in the universities where you did your masters, starting with Krusha?
Okay, so I would say teaching pedagogy is more or less the same as Auro University, because same in the Auro University, we were given prior readings and other sort of materials to prepare for the class. Similarly, where I was studying at the University of East Anglia, we were given a lot of reading material, and I think it required almost 48 hours of reading. So they had also, calculated the time that it requires for you to read before the class. And after that, when we attend the class, a similar presentation kind of setup where all the students are sitting and faculty is presenting, and in between they ask questions, or even students are allowed to, clarify the doubts. Because where I was studying, unlike other universities, such as I would take the name of Queen Mary, because I'm very familiar with their teaching pedagogy, because a lot of friends that I am in association with now are from Queen Mary, which I also received an offer, but I did not attend there solely for this reason, where UEA has group study kind of setup, where at the most you will be in a batch of 40 students, but never more than that. And even if there are more students, they will split you into groups. Whereas in other universities, there are hundreds and thousands of students sitting in the same class. So I think if you are going abroad and if any university in specific offers group study kind of setup, I think it's better to choose that, because in a small setup of students, you can always ask as many questions as you want, and you can gain also the personal attention by the professors. So I think I would say it is very much similar to what I studied during my undergraduation at Auro. The only difference was about the location, that I was in England and here I was in India.
Thank you so much, Krusha. Next is Prachi. Prachi, can you share about the teaching pedagogy that you had there and Auro University, practice that we have at Auro University?
Yeah, like Krusha said, the pedagogy is the same, but I would say I gave more presentation at Auro, not just presentation, but reports and writing memos, participating in moods, compared to US. I think over here, it's not compulsory for people to come and present every week. There are panel discussion, of course, there are panel discussions, but it's a little bit different. And I think it was better at Auro University, where we were indulged in groups and it was not individual assignments all the time, because, if you're in a group, then you develop other skills, like I said before, interpersonal skills and persuasive skills. That helped me a lot at work. And when I see other people over here, they're not able to communicate with each other properly, or they have differences of opinion because they have never worked together in a group. So that's the only difference that I noticed over here. People are more indulged in working individually than in groups. But besides that, I think panel discussions and everything is same compared to Auro.
Okay, thank you so much, Prachi. Now the last question that I have, it's a second last question. So if you remember, we also had the classes of SOL, where we talked about the different values, if you remember, right? Progress, perseverance, peace, aspiration, courage, equanimity, generosity, goodness, gratitude, receptivity, humility, and sincerity. Can you tell me what are the core values that you can relate with your profession? Any of the core value that you think that, okay, you have studied this at Auro and you are also practicing it in your profession? Starting with Aditya. Aditya, you're muted.
Okay. So, ma'am, I would like to talk about peace. My sir always used to tell me that an advocate shall have an equilibrium, where he shall or she shall maintain a kind of equilibrium before any conviction. That is not being emotional. So every time, so when I was in High Court, so sir always used to confront me that if I'm giving you matter, because I was in state government, so I have to prepare matter for the state side. So sir always used to tell me that you are not supposed to go personal. If you go personal, then you will lose the equilibrium. And at that time, I remember that one of the principles of the Auro University was peace. So this is how I, kind of understand the core value, that how my profession wants me to be and how Auro University wants us to be, from a learner to a leader.
Right. It is peace as well as equanimity, right? Being equanimous in all the situations, right? A profession is such where you are always going to have a turmoil in your mind. So if you have peace, if you have equanimity, then only you can work in the profession. Very well said. Tanay, can you share your experience? Can you share how these values can help in your profession?
The main value which I would like to talk upon is respect. Like, for example, when we go into the high courts, we see that it is not only the juniors who respect their seniors, but it is the other way around as well. Like, for example, the senior advocates also talk with respect to the juniors. So that is a quality which I have inculcated while I was in Auro. Like in Auro, there was nothing like seniors or juniors. What we had was friends. So be it Prachi, Krusha, Dhwani, Parth here, they were all friends to us rather than seniors to us. So that is one quality which I have been going like practice for the last 5 years. And now I see good lawyers practicing with respect. So basically that is how I think Auro has inculcated the idea of respect in me and made me as a person or a professional who I am today.
Right. So it means that it is humility that is taught to you, right? So to be humble, whether the person is a senior, yes, whether a person is a senior or a junior, you have to be humble. As a professional also, when you go to the court, even if you are Ram Jethmalani, you have to bow down to the court, right? You cannot say you are the most senior and the most learned lawyer. Very well said.
Absolutely.
Dhruvee, can you share?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I would like to talk about calmness. Like what I have experienced over the years is like an internship when you're given so much work and then when you have to cope up with it. So it's like you panic. And at that point of time, what I feel is I've learned from the university is that over so many projects and over so many points of research and everything that we have gone through, like it is very important to maintain the calmness and have the courage and be loyal to the profession and have faith in ourselves that we can do it and we can make it the work that has been given to us.
Thank you so much, Dhruvee. Next is Parth. Parth, can you tell me any core value with which you relate in your profession?
Ma'am, I would say it would be calmness and responsibility. Being honest, this profession takes us for a toss. One of the most, it is one of the most time consuming and one of the most hardworking profession you could be in. There would be a number of times when you might lose your patience, and it might just change your equilibrium with the matter you are dealing with and with the mindset you should be having while dealing those matters. And so you should be dealing all the matters very calmly without losing your cool, and with having equal responsibility that the work you are dealing with has to be dealt with responsibility, as you are dealing with someone else's future and with someone else's life.
Right. So far what I understood is you all, whosoever has talked till now, they have talked more about peace and equanimity, which is needed in the profession the most. Other is the courage, aspiration, and sincerity, because when you're working in a profession, when you're touching human lives, it becomes very important that you're sincere, right? You're honest in your work, you're sincere in your work, right? So that is also the core value that we have, which talks about sincerity. And of course, aspiration, you want to go in your profession. Okay, next is Dhwani.
Yes. Okay,
Dhwani?
so for me, yes. So for me, it's a combination of sincerity, goodness, and humility. Why sincerity is because, again, if someone's given you their case, someone's come up to you, you have to be responsible enough and sincere enough towards your work to solve their matter and give in your 100%, because it is, after all, somebody's life that is in your hand. Goodness, why? Now, this position or this particular case has been given to you not because you're powerful or something, it's because somebody has this immense trust in you. So why I related with goodness is you need to have some kind of groundedness. Now, this is also interconnected with humility. Now you will reach heights in your life. This is what I have learned from my senior, Advocate Trivedi, that whatever heights you lead in your life, you have to be grounded. There has to be certain amount of goodness in you, that you develop, your clients develop a trust in you, and they give it to you happily, and they give it to you with a lot of heart, not because you're famous or not because you're successful. They give it to you because you're a good human, because you're successful, and because you're down to earth. Yeah, I would like to sum it like that.
Thank you so much, Dhwani. Thank you so much, Dhwani. Next is Krusha.
Yes, ma'am. So as I've already emphasized on sincerity and humility during my experience of NGO internships or other internships, but I would like to also emphasize upon courage, because that's what I have found during my undergraduation days, that it's honesty and courage, I think, goes hand in hand. So if you are honest about something, be it any of the matter or any of the issues, that you always find a way to courage. But if you are not sure about some things or some paths that you are going towards, then you tend to lose your courage. And that's what I have realized, that in order to have the strong sense of courage, honesty is a policy that you must have. And I have always stood up to whatever I feel is right, or I feel that I'm being honest about. And I've always had the courage so far. And today also it helps me in my present day career, that even if I am at a lower position at maybe some other university, or afterwards I'll be somewhere else as a fresher to be profession. But if I feel something is right and I need to stood up against it, I always find the courage. And I think I learned it from Auro. You must be knowing my previous experiences there. I need not to mention any of those. So I think, yes, in a way, in a nutshell, I would say that Auro's core values are embodied in myself, the courage on the top of all of them.
Thank you so much, Krusha. Next is Prachi.
Yes, I agree with Krusha. Courage is also the one for me. It has helped me a lot, and it is if you want to be a successful lawyer or even a person, it is very important to step out of your comfort zone. And if you need to have the courage. If you don't, then you cannot do any good things, or you cannot be successful. So I think courage is one of them, and even punctuality, because through the internships, I have realized that it is very important to be very punctual in courts, because even if you are late by 1 minute, you can either lose the opportunity to challenge a case or a motion, or sometimes you can even push the trial to another date, which is not good for the client. So I think it is always better to strive to be early rather than on time. So I would say courage and punctuality are the ones that I have learned from Auro.
Thank you so much, Prachi. Now this question is for all the parents. This is the last question. So here I want to ask you, because you have right? So
Ma'am,
my
you're not
question
audible.
here
Ma'am, you're
is...
not audible.
Ma'am, not audible.
Okay. I'm just right. So can you talk about the career options that one can have after graduating? For different areas, you have internships, and you have also worked in the places. So can you tell the law aspirants to how,
Ma'am, you are not audible.
how
Excuse me. Can I present this question before the panelists?
Yes.
Vrishti madam is trying to ask about the various career options that are available after the degree in law. So, and how you choose this particular option for yourself. So, it's for the students who are aspiring to do the law degree or the students who are still pursuing the law degree. So, what is the possible career options, and about your particular option, which prompted you to choose this particular option?
Okay.
Again, starting from Prachi.
Prachi, yes.
yes.
Please.
So law has become a very vast field. You can do a lot with a law degree than ever before. If you want to work in a legal field, you can opt for private practice or judicial clerkship, work for the government or file PIL, or you can even do in-house counsel. However, if you don't want to work in a legal field, that's fine, I guess. You can still do a lot, like opting for higher education administration like Krusha, and or you can join politics or do a law firm administrative work or financial planning, real estate, whatever you want to do. However, I also think that there is an increasing demand in the field of negotiation and dispute resolution, as it is less expensive and time consuming. It's more private and confidential compared to litigation. So I would say I would go for negotiation and dispute resolution. Yeah.
Okay. Next is Krusha.
Yes. So as Prachi has covered mostly everything, I mean the more general aspects of career options after getting a law degree. But in my opinion, I feel that while you are studying or you are in undergraduation days, there is a strong sense of one particular area of law where your heart goes. So for me, it has always been teaching. Similarly, for you as well, I think if you talk to yourself or look into your soul, you will get a voice from inside saying that whether you want to be a part of litigation. Because when I was a student, I had done a lot of litigation internships as well with the High Court, and even I went to Supreme Court as well. As much as I loved mooting and litigation, but I was not really sure whether I want to be in that field for the rest of my life. And when I was teaching to even my fellow classmates before exams or making them understand any topic, I saw myself enjoying so much. I still remember that I wanted to be a professor in my school days because I used to teach even my fellow classmates there as well. So then only I decided that no, I want to be in the field of academics, no matter what my other faculty says or even my parents say. But I always, felt that I am the happiest when I teach somebody or when I research. So that I will tell you, just don't follow the herd. I mean, just because everybody is going to a foreign country or getting their LLM degree or doing some of the other things, just don't follow the trend. Because if you are doing so, then you are not following your heart, and it's not going to lead you somewhere at some point of your life. Maybe it could gain you a temporary achievement or a temporary sense of satisfaction in your life, but in a long run, it won't survive for long. Trust my word. So even if you think that your interest is in some mediocre area, or you think that criminal law is not as popular as any other trending law, such as air and space law, or even new trends of IP law, or even dispute resolution for that matter, as Prachi mentioned. If you think that your heart is in criminal law, just go for it. Don't think twice about anything, or how the world would perceive you, or how it will look on your CV. Nobody is going to hire you because it's very common. So the bottom line for whatever things you want to do in your life is just follow your heart and follow your instincts. That's my suggestion.
Thank you. Next is Dhwani.
Yes. So even when I was in law school, actually, first of all, I would second what Krusha said, that you have to ask yourself. Me, I was always into a corporate law firm, and I was always a corporate law firm person. And as I mentioned earlier, the third year internship was my turning point in life. And I realized when I worked in a particular corporate law firm, I realized that this is something that I want to do. And I also had a discussion with my faculty members in Auro University, and they encouraged me that if you're into this, make sure you continue doing so. So that's what I did. I joined a corporate law firm after graduating of 5 years. The first thing I developed there was my drafting skills. Why drafting very important is first because when you start drafting and when you start and writing everything by your own self, only then it will be possible for you to express, because that's something that you have researched upon, that's something that you have been writing, that's something that you have been drafting. So my suggestion to everybody who wants to go out who wants to take litigation or non-litigation as your career option is first of all, try to research on your own, listen to your heart, follow the path. Then you can go out and open and speak about what you actually have done by your own self. So drafting, make sure it's your base one, and then your second base is that you go out and litigate. Because first of all, you should know what you're going to speak. You should know how you're going to present yourself, because might as well, when you go out and open, there are going to be seniors. Now, when you look at those seniors in the court, they're so prepared by everything. So you have to be spot on with your game when you're dealing in a legal field, because I always believe once a law student is always a law student, because it is a never ending learning process. So when you start researching and when you start studying is when you actually evolve. So make sure your research game and your drafting and your litigation skill is really on when you want to get into this field. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next is Parth.
Yes. Adding on to what the other panelists said, law is one of the most evolving fields today. We have various fields and various discussions in the law fraternity. It can be divided and classified as litigation. You can be a corporate lawyer, you can be a legal advisor, counseling. It can be academics, judiciary. It can be a government lawyer. It could be legal outsourcing. But before going through any of this, you should be knowing, or you should be having interest in any one of them. Then if in any chance you select litigation, there is no other option than hard work, and it is going to take a much more long time than any other classifications as corporate or judiciary or any other job to get settled in the practical thing, because it won't be like that you will be able to get settled in few months or a year. It will require a lot of hard work, a lot of time to get settled in this field. You can choose any one of them as per your interest, as you have developed through your 5-year course in law.
Right. So here we can say that in legal profession, the success does not come overnight, right? You have to keep on working. Yes, you have to keep on working hard, right? So here comes the core values that are taught to you in your college, right? Perseverance or humility or progress. Right. So, no, as I have always said in the class, the celebrated quote that we have, advocacy is a jealous mistress. Right. So you have to give 100% to your profession. You have to keep working hard. And if you will do that, obviously you will succeed in life. So first initial years will be something that will help you gain the experience from the profession and create a goodwill.
Yes.
Yes?
So
yes.
Okay, so next question is for Tanay, Dhruvi and Aditya. Since you're just going to graduate soon, I want to ask you, how did you decide that you want to go to corporate, especially Tanay and Dhruvi? And Aditya, how did you decide that you want to go into the litigation and you want to do internship with Advocate Hardik? We can start with Tanay.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Ma'am, on the lighter side, I can say that it is the money, but it's not. I can proudly say that corporate field has been one of my area of interest, especially the corporate litigation, that is the litigation department of such firms. So the subject matter of such litigation is very interesting to me, just like the commercial arbitration, commercial cases, taxation cases. So I have always fancied such cases, and through the, like, I've already interned under the practicing advocates in the Supreme Court and the High Court. I've got an idea about what general litigation looks like. So I've always wanted to try an internship under the corporate litigation department, and here I am practicing under Mrs. Bindi Dave, and I can say that it is a field that one should surely explore. And like, I was not able to explore this field in my early law, like college days, that is in my third year or the fourth year, and I am doing this internship in my last year. But one should try this internship in their early years so that they get a better idea of what the options are available to them after they graduate. So it is not just the general litigation, and one can opt for such subject matter cases as well.
Okay, so Tanay, I want to ask this question to each one of you, that do you agree that the students should explore different internships, do different works in the 5 years so that they can get a perspective of what they want to do?
Certainly, ma'am.
Absolutely,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
I feel that one should explore all the fields before jumping onto a conclusion as to what field they want to work under. I think a person should try to explore all the fields in their second or third year so they get a better understanding of what exactly the work is under the field that they want to opt for, and they can decide their career options accordingly.
Okay. Dhruvee, can you share your experience?
You are on
Dhruvi?
mute. You.
Oh, sorry. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'll say again. So, as you rightly pointed out, that these are the diverse internships that actually help us to decide where we want to finally land at. So, it is a very slow process. There is no need to panic or be able to understand in the initial years itself that where you want to finally go to. Like, we start with an NGO, then I've worked in the district court as well, in a high court and the Supreme Court, and I did a corporate internship in my fourth year as well in Ahmedabad in Nanavati and Nanavati law firm. Finally, it is there where I realized that I have always wanted to do litigation, and in my initial years, it would really help if I would work in a corporate firm in a general litigation, so that it would help me explore diverse areas of law and the growth and the opportunity that is related with it. Which is why finally I decided to work in a corporate firm, and I'm working there as an assessment internship. So, as all the law fields are rightly pointed out by these people, so it is very important to understand where you finally want to go at without hesitating, and take your own time and peace with it. It's not necessary to quickly decide in the first or the second year where you want to go at, and not take any decisions with haste.
Okay, thank you so much, Dhruvee. Last is Aditya. Aditya, can you tell us?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, so basically, I always wanted to be part of litigation. I never had any option, regardless of the fact that what is about opportunity cost. So the question was, at what capacity? I had three different perspectives. So I did my internship under private lawyer, Megha Jani. Then the judiciary, I did a clerkship under Justice A.J. Desai. Then under a PP, Hardik Soni. So it plays a vital role to understand at what capacity that you want to be part of this litigation. And more or less, this helps us to understand the whole crafting of litigation or whole crafting of court. So this is how internship did help me.
Okay, thank you so much, panelists. It was wonderful having a chat with you, and it is actually an overwhelming moment for me to hold my own students and see them how mature they have become, because many of you I've taught from after just like from first semester, and now you're all grown up, joined the profession and all. So it is indeed a very overwhelming moment for me, and thank you so much for coming, and keep coming. Thank you so much.
Inviting us.
It was great
Thank you
talking
so
with
much,
you.
ma'am,
Thank
for
you
this
for
opportunity.
inviting us. We are
Thank you so
always
much,
available
Yes,
for
ma'am.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you
you.
very
Thank you
much
so
to
much.
all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
So we will be leaving now and looking forward to meet you in person after all this
Yes,
The
ma'am.
lockdown ends.
problem.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
lockdown
after
and
lockdown, ma'am.
yeah, this pandemic is over. So
Yes.
thanks again for connecting and
You're welcome, ma'am.
goodbye. We may now leave the
Goodbye.
Goodbye,
meeting.
ma'am.
Thank
Sure,
you,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Bye,
Thank you,
ma'am. Good
ma'am.
night,
Bye.
ma'am.
everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.